Howdy, and welcome to another stream. Let's add some light. I mean, a little bit of too shady at the moment. Let's fix that also. And it seems like it's not really working properly. Okay, and there we have it. So, welcome to the stream. Of course, it's October officially now. Anyway, in this part of the world. And time for beer o'clock. Let me just tune in a little bit of light here. And now it's a little bit better. Grainy as ever is the image here, even with the light. Maybe we can add a little bit more light to this. So, hello and welcome to the stream. Nothing in particular in my mind today, except that I have some news to share with you. But first, let's have some beer. So, hello, Hijo del Negro, Paul Condillo, and other people right there. I hope you're having a good time wherever you are. Oh, what I'm having. This time it's a grapefruit pale ale by not exactly local, but well, close enough. Some few kilometers away. That is a few dozens kilometers. Anyway, so my work isn't exactly done for today. Still have some reviews to be written. Still have some audio editing to be done and all that stuff. But overall, it's been a rather nice weekend so far. Deadlifting, eating sushi, listening to some good music, preparing for some future Rauta projects, including that audio editing, but not limited to that. And overall, it's been a pretty hectic few last weeks, and things are looking better as ever. Once again, if you have any questions, just let me know, and I will address those questions as soon as possible. So, okay, Rome, Italy was mentioned. I hope Rome is good as ever. Never been to Rome, but been to Italy a couple of times, 3 times, I think. So, you are the first people to know that Rauta is expanding, or at least attempting to expand. And this means podcast. Now, the very first podcast episode was recorded a couple of days ago, technically speaking, this Thursday. So, yeah, 2 days ago. And now I'm trying to put those audio tracks in place so that I can actually share it with you people. And by sharing, I mean first, I am trying to put Patreon site in use. That means all those Patreon supporters, hopefully some are here as well, um, should have the chance to listen to the very first podcast. And I'll have an interesting co host, which you will learn. I'm not going to reveal it here just yet, but you will learn about him if you're going to listen to the podcast. Well, of course, Patreon site is not the only one which is able to access that podcast if everything goes as I'm planning to do. I'm also planning to upload it on Spotify, and we'll see if other platforms are also possible for this kind of stuff. This is a lot to learn for me, not only in terms of editing the audio in proper way so that it's listenable and all that stuff, but also uploading to the sites which I have never used in such manner. I mean, of course, I've been using Patreon site for a few years now for Rauta, and that means uploading those or linking those incoming video interviews there, so that Patreon supporters who are supporting the channel can actually see those interviews like before the rest of you can. That is part of the deal. They support the channel. That is me and my camera crew with money so that we can actually travel to festivals and places like that in order to do more interviews. So that's the basic deal. But there's a couple of reasons why I'm doing this podcast. First of all, I feel like I should be giving more to the people who are actually supporting the channel, who have been, helping Rauta to grow. It's not like we get to travel much. There's not enough money for that. I mean, the budget is relatively low, and traveling, of course, costs, but it has helped. For actually this year, we've already done Inferno Festival and Midgårdsblot, both in Norway. And from Inferno Festival, we already got those 8 interviews earlier this summer. And then, of course, you got Steelfest interviews right after that. And now the first Midgårdsblot interviews are coming out. Marduk already came out yesterday, and I hope you have been enjoying it. And the next one in the pipeline is Garia, this Portuguese black metal band. In fact, my favorite Portuguese black metal band so far. And there are overall 6 video interviews coming from Midgårdsblot. So I hope it has been worth the time. And of course, there was a video which I made about the festival, showing you a little bit of what's going on there, the Viking village and all. So on top of these, video interviews, I hope that you will actually enjoy these podcasts, which are there to give you a little bit more than just the normal videos coming daily on the channel. When I have a co-host with this podcast, I will, of course, talk about the various topics which are maybe too big to fit in one video. I mean, it's not like I'm going to do a 60-minute video of talking. I know it's just too much. And of course, there are so many reviews and so many interviews coming all the time that I really can't sacrifice too many days on the channel to just do opinion videos. So we're having a co-host. We can actually have this kind of a conversation, dialogue, if you will, and we can really touch different subjects and more than just my opinion, which I think is interesting. Now, I can reveal this much. He is also a musician, also previously done some journalism in metal, like reviews and stuff. So he's not a newcomer to the genre. He's not exactly a young fellow, but experienced musician playing in a black metal band, or actually 2 at least. And yes, he will have some interesting opinions. So it's going to be a dialogue between me and him. And hopefully in the future, we'll get to feature some guests as well with the podcast. Now, since the first episode is still in the works, and I hope to get it out this week. I don't know if I can make it because it's already, technically speaking, Sunday over here in Finland. I don't know if I can make it out this week, but I'm doing my best. And then we are preparing for the next episode with another topic and another album and all that stuff. So in the first episode, we will talk for about, 40 minutes about festivals, about new Behemoth album, and of course, introduce ourselves to the audience. I don't know how this podcast will do. Maybe it's too full of shit in your opinion. Maybe it's worthwhile and likable, but there is plenty of room for us to expand and, progress with it and see how it goes. And of course, looking forward to all kind of feedback and all that stuff. So these are the new plans for Rauta to expand. But other than that, business as usual, meaning reviews coming almost on a daily basis, interviews coming once a week, and then we also have, of course, these opinion and feature videos like worst to best, etc., etc., and these monthly streams, which I try to do every first weekend of a new month. So I hope you will find these interesting, and if not, well, can't really please everybody. Hello, Kukkakuula. Yes, this is the At the Gates shirt I bought a few years ago from their gig, because after all, it's a good band. Well, in my opinion, anyway. And happy Halloween, Rin Frinvraith, Kekri. Yes. People really celebrate Halloween on various occasions. Some do celebrate it in their first or early days of October, some a little bit later. But yeah, it's going to be interesting. To answer your question, Iho, no, I haven't heard Kaivum as far as I can remember. Hello, Belstad. How are you doing, man? I'm doing fine. Just losing some weight since, well, early months of the year. Had my very first official deadlift competition last week. Maybe some people noticed it on Rauta's Instagram or my Instagram, that is, same thing. I posted my lift there. It was indeed interesting experience to participate in a deadlift competition officially. So I got a medal, and I don't know, it was fun. So learning experience. I mean, when you're a little bit older, like I am already a little bit older, you don't really get to feel that many, how to say, nerve wracking moments. I mean, kind of a butterflies in your tummy because you are so excited and nervous about something. Like in past few years, I rarely get nervous about anything at all, and those experiences are getting rarer by the age. Um, and this time, I got those butterflies in my tummy because of getting on stage to lift before the audience as well as the judges. So yeah, it was interesting. I think the last time I got that kind of nervous was like the previous but unofficial powerlifting competition. So yeah, it was interesting. And also, I mean, of course, our band's comeback gig um, last March, that was pretty much the same kind of a thing. You would feel the nervous feeling inside you because you're ready to go on stage and all that stuff. So it's cool, to actually feel something that you don't get to feel, every day. So yeah, there's that. Hello, old man. I'm doing fine. How are you, man? Uh, Ulf Hedler is asking interesting question. Why it's important always underline I only like Bergson because of his music, not of his political or religious stand. Um, well, with Burzum, it's kind of obvious, I think, because I mean, a lot of people who like Burzum's music still consider Very Weakerness to be full of shit. Now, there's a couple of reasons why people make that comment about Burzum. First of all, well, Very Weakerness is, he's a murderer. He was in prison for murder and other reasons like arson, but also he has some weird fuck up opinions about politics and well, I don't want to touch all the topics he's talking about, but he can be really racist, he can be a lot of bigotry and all that stuff. So I guess people, when they point out I listen to Burzum because of music and not because of other reasons, it's just something that you want to kind of like point out, like, hey, even though I like this music, doesn't mean that I am aligned ideologically or politically or any of that sort with this given artist. It's pretty much the same that with those NSBM bands, or for some reason people could say, yeah, I'm listening to some Christian music, but doesn't make me a Christian person. And by Christian music, I don't necessarily mean white metal. You could be just listening to some weird music, even gospel, I think. Or maybe you're listening to some hip hop stars and you might be saying, like, yeah, I can like that music, I can like that rap dude, but I don't like how he's treating women or whatever, or some drug abuse case. I mean, there are plenty of reasons why somebody would go that. But, people don't have that about Creator. I mean, did Creator anywhere kill anybody? Did they say something that is cringy? I don't think so. So it's not about like Napalm or Creator being on the left wing of side or Burzum being on the right wing side. You're very free to go whether it's about right or left or just don't give a fuck. But when you go for really weird opinions or like very cringy department of opinions. Of course, you kind of want to say like, "Hey, I don't have nothing to do with that." So I guess that's the reason with Burzum. Burzum is a very, very weird act in that sense. N is asking, what do I think about Inferno Festival 2023? I can say this much. The lineup doesn't look as good as 2022, but then again, not all the bands are out there yet. I'm still planning to go there, but there are some buts and ifs along the way because I might not be in Finland. And most likely, I'm not in Finland when Inferno in Norway takes place. So I will have to see how the flights are and all that stuff, but most likely going. Yes, Finrate, I agree. October as whole is kind of a Halloween month, and I like it. I know a lot of people don't like Halloween because it's so American thing, but it's actually originally from Europe, and I think it's a wonderful season because of, like I said, horror themes. And I like those pumpkins, those red, orange pumpkins, where people like carve them empty, put some candles inside to create this kind of a weird witchery movies feeling. The thing here is it's all about witches and pagan traditions, and harvest season is done and we're preparing for coming winter. I like Halloween. I like it a lot. I think it's one of the better pagan traditions or seasons, way better than say Christmas or Yule or Easter or whatever. So yeah, I think Halloween is cool. Hello, Guts Out, Portugal. I was just talking about Gairia, the favorite band of mine from Portugal. Yes, Bells, that's how Burzum it is, making memes out of it, of course. Finworthy is asking if I like the movie about Warg. If you mean Lords of Chaos, I think it was quite good. I made a review, so I'm not gonna recap it, but there is my Lord of Chaos movie review on the channel if you wanna hear what I have to say about it. But I think it was overall quite okay, quite nice in fact, very gory. But yeah, it's not documentary. We have to remember that. All right, Waldman. I hope you will find a drummer eventually. Spencer Grady, you're right. Hallows Eve and All Souls Eve, definitely. Sluted. Okay, I gotta say, Belstad, I don't know that one. Spencer Grady is asking what thoughts on the new Druid. I haven't yet heard it, so can't really comment it. There's so many good um, bands and releases coming all the way, but this year hasn't been really good for black metal. However, my favorite thus far is this Trinitas album, and my review will come out on Monday. This is something that you should be checking out if you're looking for some of the better black metal albums for this year. In my opinion, this year hasn't been as good in terms of black metal as, say, 2022 or 2021. But yeah, some good ones are still coming out. Hello, Dragonian. Everything is cool, man. Rauconte, buongiorno. Yes, it is still possible to book a night side for a gig. Actually, it seems like we will have a night side gig in Finland still this year. This hasn't been officially mentioned on the band side, but we lost our guitarist. He decided he is too busy to play in a band, but we already got a replacement who is a very, very cool guy. And we're supposed to have a night side rehearsal actually tomorrow when we will practice some new songs. We have quite a few new songs ready, and we're practicing for the first time or rehearsing with this new guitarist. And I'm really happy about it. I mean, he's a really great guy, and he fits the band perfectly, I think. So we'll see how it turns out with the new guitarist, and going to play some new songs when we go on stage. So it's not just music from the 90s or early 2000s. We're going to play some new stuff as well for the first time because I think the new songs are really, really good. And we're sticking to the very, very roots in terms of night sides. So expect very, very 90s inspired or style of black metal, even though it is partially anyway songs from 2022. Hello, much love. Welcome to the stream. Oh, Spencer Grady, new Blood Incantation. Okay, that wasn't really metal this year. Thank you, Draconian. Yeah, I bought this At the Gates shirt a couple of years ago when At the Gates was playing a show because I realized I don't even have an At the Gates shirt and I've been a fan of the band since the 90s. So I figured it's a due time to just, show my support. And I cannot really compare Inferno Festival to Beyond the Gates because I've never been to Beyond the Gates. Rauta hasn't been still invited to the festival, so I haven't really bothered to check out whether or not I should be going there. I guess it should be, right up my alley. But given the budget and all that stuff, well, Inferno is easier to handle because it's, Easter time than, summertime. But I'm definitely, I hope that one day I will go to the Beyond the Gates. If I can just somehow sort out the budget, which is not so easy because all of our crew have to pay their own tickets. Not tickets to the festival, but plane tickets and hotels and all that stuff. Unless we suddenly get a huge amount of Patreon supporters. So I don't know if we are able to go there. But yeah, I hope to attend Beyond the Gates someday. Cortex with K. Can't say it rings a bell. Coca-Cola. Can't say I have heard that Impure Violation. And that's always, funny when people ask me, have I heard this and that? I wish I could say yes, yes, yes. The thing here is there's so many metal albums coming all the time. I've been working like crazy in terms of reviews and all that stuff. And I managed to push my review pile under 300. It was until like 280. And suddenly I get like 12 albums more. And every week I have a new set of albums bands which I haven't even heard before, and yet still people ask me, have I heard this, have I heard that? And I'm like, no. And there's still lots of bands which I know most people haven't even heard of. So yeah, there's already a lot of album reviews coming. I'm already making most of October. I actually had to push some of my reviews already to the first days of November because I'm actually doing some of these October videos. Like next week is mostly done. The week after that is something again new, and then the ones that I've already done, which were supposed to come in October, are now coming out in November. So it's almost like a month's queue, which is already done, and I have so many albums to be reviewed. So I don't know what else to say, but the world is crazy with so many good albums coming all the time. Or I don't know about good, but interesting ones. Let's put it this way. Hello, Brynolfsson from Hempa and Darkened. Hello, Sweden. How are you How are you guys doing? And keep that Darkened doing. It's good band. Hello, Serbia. Hello, Iraq. Yeah, fuck, that's great. Never pictured people from Iraq joining Rauta channel. Considering it's a Muslim country, and metal is maybe not the most popular thing in Iraq, but yeah, it's cool to have metalheads in Iraq as well. Yeah, thank you, Waldman. I think this new guitar player is easier to go with than the previous one. It was sad to lose him, but then again, if one doesn't have the time for a band, what else you can do really but let him go? Can't really force anyone to play. And he's also asking if I would like to go to Midgard Plot again. I feel like that the answer is yes. However, I have no idea what kind of bands are playing next year, but I really had a good time at Midgard Plot. I like the environment, I like the bands, I met some nice new people. So I like Midgard Plot. I guess I understand so well why people are, Norway fans, given that, a lot of Norwegian people are really nice. I mean, Norway is expensive as fuck. But then again, the people in Norway, I mean, I've met some new friends, some old friends, and there's just some good vibe with those festivals. I met some nice new people. I befriended with some nice people at Midgårdsblot, so I had a really, really good time. Um, can't really complain. I mean, I heard some stories that Midgård's plot, crew wasn't exactly the happiest out there. There were some problems behind the scenes. Not gonna touch that subject, without more proper information. But if it was up to me, I would definitely go to Inferno, Beyond the Gate, and Midgård's plot. But I also have to remember that there are plenty more um, festivals coming. So we're living in these crazy times that are now, after the pandemics are mostly gone and the world is pretty much open, we still have so many festivals happening. And it's not like I have the money and time to attend all the festivals that are happening, just in Europe, not to mention in the States or whatever. The thing here is, and even if I can go, it doesn't mean I can just bring my camera people along because, like I said, everything costs money and it's going to be hard to choose where to go. If you can do like two festivals outside Finland, which is realistic for me and the camera crew, it's going to be hard to choose which festivals to go. But yeah, overall, I'm fucking stoked to go to Norway once again. I really like it, even though Norway is expensive. Having those great people there, great bands, great atmosphere. It's fucking great, man. Hello, Mark 13. It's going great. Thank you for asking. I hope you're doing fine as well. Um, it's not likely that I'm doing a new Aussie review because actually, what I've noticed recently that some bigger labels are very, very hard to work with. It's like they have the money, but they don't want to promote. Everything is so digital nowadays, and I really can't justify taking a digital copy to review over the physical ones I'm being sent. So because smaller brands and smaller labels keep sending me CDs and even vinyl every now and then, I really can't take, a digital copy and review that. But like I mentioned in the first seconds or minutes of this stream, Rauta's podcast might include some of those albums and bands which are not as normal reviews on the channel. So we might have a discussion about them, like we already had a Behemoth thing, and I have some plans for those albums that are not coming for review normally. But we'll see about that. Can't promise anything like that. I need to listen to that Aussie album myself. I hadn't even, like a digital copy of it. So I just go for the stream whenever it's out. What else? Um, yeah, Mark 13 is saying 2022 is for metal music was lost the best for decade. I think a lot of years before 2022 have been better than this year. But then again, there are quite a few great albums this year as well. So can't really complain. But like it's not like, in my opinion, this year hasn't been too good when it comes to black metal. I mean, only a handful of good black metal albums this year, to be honest. Yes, and also to answer the Serbian guy, yes, Finland is also quite expensive. That is true, but even from Finland traveling to Norway, everything feels even more expensive. Hello, Russia. How are you doing in the middle of war with Ukraine? I hope things are okay. even though I have zero sympathy for Russia at the moment. Hello, SK. How are you doing, man? Mohammed is asking, what's my favorite genre in black metal? Now, I don't know if I have a really favorite genre in black metal because it all comes down to individual bands and albums, even. Sometimes I feel like the best black metal is kind of a melodic black metal. I'm talking about Dissection and Storm of the Lights Bane. Sometimes I feel like it's the rawer and darker ways of black metal, like Under a Funeral Moon or Transylvanian Hunger. Sometimes I feel like it's the atmospheric black metal, like, Burzum's with Lysetar Os or Philosophem. So I don't know if I have a favorite sub-genre in black metal. I can say most definitely it's not DSBM or it's not NSBM. Those are far from being my favorite. But yeah, I mean, old school black metal, Bathory, for instance. Some of my favorites are indeed old school, or even early Celtic Frost. But because Dark Throne would be my all time favorite black metal, I guess a little bit rawer end of black metal would be my favorite kind. Not necessarily the most primitive type like Ildiorn or Hot or things like that, but black metal comes in various forms and all that stuff. So yeah, it's more about individual releases and bands than any kind of a given style. Waldman, okay, thanks for heads up regarding Cortex. Oh, yeah, Mark 13. I mentioned in the beginning of this stream that I'm doing podcast, a Rauta podcast. Now, the first episode is already recorded a couple of days ago on Thursday with a co-host of mine, which will be revealed when the podcast comes out. Now, the podcast will be first, if things go as planned, it will be uploaded to Patreon site so that Rauta Patreons have the first possibility to listen to Rauta's podcast. We're aiming that me and my co-host, who is also a musician, you will know him most likely if you listen to that podcast, so the Patreon supporters will get the first shot of listening to those. It is my way of saying, once again, thank you to the supporters. Then I'm aiming to upload it on Spotify, and after that, I will look into other possibilities, which is not limited, but most likely including things like Apple Music and all that stuff. But to be honest, the March order is pretty much Patreon first, Spotify second, the rest after that. And in case you're wondering why Spotify, first of all, there is a great tool for Spotify to include the podcast. So I've done more research how to upload stuff on Spotify rather than all those other platforms. Also, one of the key elements is uploading this podcast to various platforms has to be free because it's not like we're making money out of this, and I don't want to, spending money in order to just give you more things to listen, because the point here is kind of like this is not supposed to be that I spend money in order to talk and give you something to listen. The point is not to make you pay, but how it is. All all the time in the world is somewhat taking its toll. So I aim to give it first to the Patreon supporters because, like I said, they have been helping out the channel. That means me and my camera crew. So they will be rewarded first, and those who are ready to listen to Spotify are supposed to get that podcast second. I don't know how often we get to make these podcast episodes. I guess originally the idea was to have like one episode a week. How long? I don't know yet. This is the first pilot episode we're doing. So maybe it's full of shit. I don't know yet. It's up to you to decide. But that's the plan, to do that. It's not too lengthy and it's still worthwhile listening to. But you will decide if it's full of shit. And of course, looking forward to your feedback. All right, answering your questions again. Ulfer Norveger is asking, Deadlift questions: barefoot lifting or shoes? Definitely barefoot, or um, as thin shoes if possible. I'll show you mine. Be right back. Technically speaking, these are shoes, but they look like socks. These are called Skinners. As I bought them like was it like a year ago or now 2 years ago? I'm losing track of time. As you can see, this bottom part of this sock sock shoe. I think it's officially called these Skinners. This is roughly the same kind of material which you will have when you're on a running track. So it's kind of like uh, I don't know what it's called actually, but if you take a look, it's kind of a grainy. It's rubbery, and this is very elastic. As you can see, you can stretch it a bit, or you can roll it like this. You know. Now this is a rolled a Skinner shoe sock. So here you see it's like a sock. You just put your feet in, and there you have it. And this one is just cloth, so it feels like a sturdy sock in essence, but it's very very thin when compared to a actual shoe. Like I have converse converse shoes which I'm also use. So these are, in case you want to check them out, these ones are called Skinners. These are the material used on the bottom of this shoe. This is keeps water out, so you can use these outdoors as well. That's why I actually got them. But I mostly just use these at the gym, because I mean they are quite nice in terms of how you feel the ground, how you feel the floor. These are very flexible, and because you can really roll them like that, you can just easily take them with you whenever you're traveling. So a pair of these Skinner shocks. This is by the way no paid collaboration thing. I'm just showing because I am very happy with these. So these go into this, roughly a size of a man's fist, and you can actually wash these in a washing machine, which to make them really useful. I still have some chalk or magnesium powder on these socks. So these are my go-to. If you have to use deadlift shoes, make them as thin as possible. So, for example, I double checked with the one of the judges at the competition: are these eligible? Are these allowed to be used? Because they're very strict. You cannot do those deadlifts with just socks on. You need to have some kind of shoes, and these really do the trick. So off to my back they go. The second question is, ever used bouncing the weight as practice? Yes, I've done those touch and go deadlifts, which are technically speaking, I just kind of let them bounce a little bit, but I try to avoid it. I try to start with, kind of a strict, so stop and lift again. But I mean, whatever ways work, it's just a different thing. Um, Straps, I use straps so that I can have I don't have to use the kind of a mixed grip. I can just use the kind of a neutral grip when I'm lifting. So for heavier sets, I always go for the straps. Well, technically speaking, I will show them to you. So instead of normal grips, I use these kind of grips, which you can just wear like this. Then you tighten it up. These are Tougher brand from Finland, really good quality, a little bit more expensive, but really good quality. So now guys, these are very thick, sturdy, and then you just, this kind of a piece of rubber, you just kind of slide it under the bar, and now you kind of hook it, and because of this Velcro thing. It's very strict, and then you can just have a neutral grip with it. This is also good for bent over rows and things like that, or even if you're just hanging from the bar in order to do some hanging leg raises or whatever. So I use these for neutral grip. But of course, when I'm looking for competition and I'm going for heavy one rep maxis, I will go for without straps, and it will be a mixed grip. Mixed grip meaning this, in case people are not familiar with the terms. So I hope this answered your question. All right, moving on with more questions so that we don't just focus on deadlifting. Westbell Cabrera is asking, will I ever do a video about albums that you consider 10 out of 10? That is a really good idea. I could do that. Yeah, I'll add that to my list of to do. Because in fact, that is something that I could talk about, like which albums are 10 out of 10. There are not too many of those, I'll be honest. I'll say a little bit more than 5, but definitely less than 10. So yeah, I could do that kind of a video. I know that people will be like, hey, you have a wrong opinion and all that stuff, but I always have a wrong opinion. That's very cool. Serbian guy is asking, like, people from Helsinki go to Tallinn to buy alcohol. Yes, in big amounts, but it doesn't really make sense unless you're buying big amounts. Is it like you're asking, like, did I happen to read the Mikko Aspa interview released a week ago in Bardo Zine? No, I haven't read it yet. I guess I'm waiting for the paper version, but I noticed that he did this interview with that. So maybe I will eventually. Okay, SK, I'm sorry that you never got Bardo methodology zines. I mean, it's a great zine. I don't know why you haven't gotten that back. Usually, I get quite a quick reply when I've been mailing to the Bardo guy. So I don't know what's wrong with that. Sorry to hear anyway. Hello, metal miners. I'm doing well, though running out of beer. I need to get another one. Yeah, I'm already done. I'm quite thirsty. Hello, Benji. Nice to hear that you're a fan of the channel. I hope the channel will be rewarding for you in the future as well. Yes, I am definitely happy about this member reunion, and I hope that they will be playing more shows. I also hope that they're putting their music back on Spotify. I was supposed to do this member worst to best video a few months ago, maybe like a year ago, only to find out that this member was gone from Spotify, according to some, I guess, feud over band rights or whatever. I mean, I prefer physical copies, but when it's about doing first to best videos, with full discography run, and when I don't have all the CDs of a given band, well, Spotify and other streaming services help a lot with that. But yeah, overall, happy to see this member back in business. Too bad they didn't play at Steelfest like they were supposed to. But yeah, they are a good band. Seen them live back in the days in the 90s and early 2000s. So yeah, great. And cheers to Maryland. I hope to visit that place someday also. Ulf Hedner is asking another question. The Norse angry old man with nationalistic music taste stuck in Norway ever checked out the band called Black Parade? Can't say I have. I have heard the name, but I haven't heard the band itself, like its music. So can't say really much of that. Thank you, SK, for your words. I mean, this is a comment worth reading. Rauta is the most metal channel on YouTube. Thank you so much. These words mean a lot to me, and you are the most dedicated supporter of the channel. So your opinion values a lot. Thank you so much. Ottoman is asking what I think about a band called Revenge. Well, I think Revenge is very fierce and intense band, but I don't think it's that good of a band when it comes to individual riffs and songs and all that stuff. Um, to me, Revenge has always been, and this same applies to Conqueror as well, has been a little bit of overhyped. I mean, I've seen band Revenge live as well, and it's intense and fierce and chaotic. But this kind of war metal thing never really resonated with me as much as, death metal on its own or black metal on its own. In my opinion, sometimes war metal is just like worst of both worlds, including death metal and black metal. But yeah, Revenge is okay, especially in you know uh, every now and then. Fuck, and now I'm running out of batteries with my mouse, so I guess time to switch the battery. I mean, it's a rechargeable mouse, but if I was to recharge it from my through my keyboard right now, it would mean my I would kill my LED light, which is here to make this video more visible. So let's just grab another battery and let's hope this one has enough energy. Yes, and we're running back in business. What about? Let's see your questions once again, and soon I will have to take another beer. Can I take the beer right now? Say yes or no. And if you say yes, I'm gonna get for another beer. If you say no, I'm not gonna get it. Meanwhile, reading your comments before reading the next. Oh, here's a Mark 13 is saying no. Mark, why are you such a negative one? Oh, I know you were kidding. Okay, I'll be right back. Give me 1 minute. I have my beer outside because it's quite cold already, given it's October in Finland. I will go right through the door, which has my home gym, and you will get to watch my back. Be right back. Already getting weird cramps. Going to fetch the beer from outside. Thank you so much, Coca-Cola. Thank you very much for your donation. This money will go to the, what do you call it? To the pool, which is then automatically distributed or divided among the Rauta crew people. Thank you so much for your donation. What we're having here today is Kimido Brewing. What do you call it? Bierka 1689. Now I don't know what that means, but somehow this Bierkas Golf is here mentioned. Kimido is a small island nearby, technically speaking, a few dozen kilometers away, and they have a small brewery right there. I got this as a gift from a family member, so here we are. Alrighty, back to your comments and questions. All right, reading. Give me a second to get back, because you're being really nice once again today, asking nice questions and making nice comments. I need to be nice to you as well. And if you get bored with the stream, just go do something else. Metal Miners is asking what have I done. So the band is called. I'm gonna just tag Nightside. Um, since Nightside doesn't really have, Nightside doesn't have a Bandcamp site just yet because I haven't uploaded any of the older songs of Nightside uh, to Bandcamp. I mean, the material we made back in the 90s and early 2000s was done with different bunch of people, and let's put it this way: the small pennies we would get out of the money from Bandcamp or streaming services, it's not just worth the trouble or hassle to divide it with the ex members. So it's just easier to just let it be there. But if you want to find Nightside's music, you can just go for some Nightside End of Christianity. Um, YouTube, I will give you the link so you can just listen to it. The whole album is right there on the on YouTube. So in case you want to listen to it, you can find it here. Someone has uploaded it, so give it a shot if you like melodic black metal in the 90s style. Um, what else? Um, yeah, well, my dad was actually I accidentally bumped into those Skinner's shoes. They're cool. And if it's warm outside, you can just use them outside as well. But they're good for gym use and other that stuff. Ottoman is asking how much Jerry bench press. Jerry is very weak in bench press. My bench press is as low as 120 kilos when I was at my best. And now that I've lost weight and all that stuff, I don't even bench press that much. So I'm sorry to say, but I suck at bench pressing. But it is what it is. All right, SK. Cool if you will find some nice shoes with Skinners or whatever. Yeah, Mach 13 is good if you have those hook and grips. It's good. Hello, Patricia. How are you doing? Everything going good there in the cat department, doing meow? Um, Patricia's doing nicely. Well, that's good. Patricia is always a very, very happy person. Um, Murpinho is asking some interesting questions. Speaking of wrong opinions, any expectations for the forthcoming In Flames album? Now, if I'm totally honest with you, I have very low expectations. In Flames used to be this good melodic metal band back in the 90s or the 2000s, it's all. And then suddenly, for some weird fucking reason, they decided to do some kind of a metalcore. And it was just horrible. So I don't have good expectations for In Flames anymore. The same thing happened with the Finnish thrash metal band Lost Society. I was just listening to the latest album today, and I was like, "What the fuck?" These guys played some decent thrash metal back in the days with their first 3, 4 albums, and now they're like one of just those faceless metalcore bands. Like, what happened? And I read one of their interviews, which was pretty okay, by the way, just a Finnish one, so I can really recommend it to you to read. But it was like, yeah, like they were kind of apologetic about like, yeah, we change styles, like whatever we do, people will say like you're sold out or you did this because of the label and all that stuff. Now, I'm not going to make those accusations. I mean, bands are free to do what the fuck they want. Of course, they're artists. But in my opinion, they went in the wrong direction. Let me put it this way. They did basically exactly the same that Dark Throne. Everybody loves Dark Throne because of their black metal, not because of their early death metal, and not definitely because of their later on proto heavy metal. And yet, that's exactly what Dark Throne is doing. So, some people say when they're in band, you cannot do this album all over again. I mean, you have to progress, you have to change, you have to evolve. I think it's bullshit. I mean, if you're really good with whatever style you have, be it death metal, power metal, black metal, whatever, Autopsy is still doing old school death metal for fuck's sake. Like, of course, you're free to break those boundaries. Of course, you're free to do whatever you want with your band. That's given. I mean, it's your band. But I would fucking personally hate if Nightside, like my band, if it started doing something else than melodic black metal, because that's what it is. I mean, if I do have the need or the urge to do something else, it's better be something different. It's like if you have a black metal band, don't turn it into some metalcore thing or death metal thing. I mean, Behemoth, latest Behemoth. What the fuck, man? It's like losing your balls. It's almost like transgender kind of a thing. No disrespect people who are there to correct their gender. But imagine this. You go out with a girl or a guy, I don't really care which way you prefer, and then after a few years, like, okay, I need to change. I need to actually, you know, reconfigure myself. Will you still be that person? Yeah, some people will say, yeah, most deaf. I mean, it is still the person I love. Good for you, my friend. But a lot of us, most of us, are not able to do that. So if you love with the band, that is, you love the band because it's playing black metal, for instance, and then they change to something different. Are you able to love the band as much? I don't think so. There are always exceptions to the rule, of course, but it's almost like your favorite beer brand. If they suddenly turn into a cider, or your favorite hamburger or pizza joint decides to do, okay, let's forget these pizzas, let's forget these hamburgers. We want to be very environmentally aware and we want to do something more healthy. Let's just do protein snacks nowadays. Really, like, okay, I never cared for the pizza in the first place. These protein snacks are fucking great as well. We are not ready for that. So either have a new brand or new band with another style and go with that and explore and expand and then keep true to your original style. Like, for instance, that's why I'm not bringing other than metal content to Rauta, not too much anyway. And I guess now it's good time to mention that I actually reignited my other YouTube channel, Rauta Beyond, because I still want to make movie reviews. I want to talk about video games. I want to talk about workouts. I want to talk about, I don't know, food. I don't want to bring that stuff to the Rauta channel. Why? Because you are not here for that kind of a content. You're here to talk about black metal, death metal, trash metal, heavy metal, any kind of metal, I guess. You're here to watch interviews, reviews, metal opinions, features, festival recaps, festival previews, or I don't know what else. Whatever I'm doing about metal stuff. You're not here to watch my videos about, yeah, I got this hamburger, or like how I watched this movie, or how I decided to just stare at the empty fucking wall in order to find philosophical, I don't know, revelation. The point here is people are fans of a given style. And now I'm talking bands again because they like that given style. So if you like Nightwish, for instance, you like it because it's symphonic and it's because it's majestic and it's melodic, it's orchestrated. If Nightwish suddenly started to do raw black metal, you would be like, what the fuck? Or the other way around, of course. I mean, if you like a certain band because, like, yeah, they play raw black metal, and suddenly they turned into a metalcore band, you probably wouldn't be, it's okay as well. I know I'm not happy about it. So bands like that who change their style too much, they can pretty much fuck off and die. Unless they make, of course, a really killer band. And yet still I kind of a wish that started as a side project. I don't know if my rant makes much of a sense to you, but I guess most of you know exactly what I'm talking about. So unless you have something really phenomenal coming out of your creative outputs don't change your style. You're gonna just let your fans down. So, I guess a long answer to that In the Flames question. Sorry, but yeah, like Mark 13 said, the way too soft. Um, so now I'm back with the beer. Yeah, Lucas is very much true. Time for whiskey. I don't just have my whiskey bottle right here. It's inside the house. Hello, Hector Garcia. Greetings from California. Greetings back at you. California waits around your return there. I know. Oh, how cute when Patricia says, please come back soon. I hope that was quick enough. I mean, women should be saying more often to me, please come back soon. SK had a first beer since April. Are you having a fever? Hector Garcia, I would definitely like to go to Mexico for a metal fest, but unfortunately, that is out of the budget. Ottoman is asking what I do for a living. I do PR and communications, meaning I usually write press releases and do translations, and I also update some social media pages for our customers. So I'm technically speaking a press and communications guy. So that leaves me a lot of time to listen to metal and write about them and do videos as well. Yes, SK, this door to the gym area is very much like my door to sauna. It is actually very much like that. Just my the gym area is right there. The sauna is right there in the different room. But yeah. Shepkin, why I'm bad boy? What's that? Hello from Ukraine. Kick some Putin ass and destroy Russia while I'm doing it. Thank you so much for your support from coming from Ukraine. I wish you all the best. I hope that you will kill those pigs and win the war. All the best to you. Coca-Cola is what SK is having. Well, Coca-Cola is one of the best soft drinks ever. Gyro Lamp, I would definitely say Chester Race is the best In Flames album. Also, Subterranean EP, maybe the best In Flames release ever. Okay, back to reading your questions. I'm lagging with the back scroll, I guess. Ulf Hedner is commenting the Skinner sock. Glad if I could be of help with those kind of stuff. Regular socks are okay, but if you're going to do competitions, if you're going to deadlift meets, you probably need some proper shoes. I mean, that's what the regulation said to me. And PR is 2005. Well, that's a good one anyway. Definitely better than most people out there. And glad if you like the answer. I hope to be helpful to people and all that stuff. Hector Garcia is asking about how I heard Antipope. Yes, I know the band. That's not too good of them. I have reviewed some of them in the past. It's interesting that you're comparing Dissection to Amon Amarth. Lucas, thank you for listening Nightside and then Christianity in August. Glad you liked it. The new stuff is in par with that, or maybe even better. Ottoman is asking when I started gym. I started in 2008. In the very beginning, of course, I didn't do any kind of powerlifting. So, yeah, got later onto that. What do you want to know about dissection, Patricia? What do you need from me besides doing all the Mio? Luke is asking, hello, Jerry. Do you have a specific religion? My religion is no religion. Or I could say metal is my music is my religion. Gym is my religion. Having sex is my religion. So, sex, Satan, and what rhymes with that? Let's just call exercises, sex, and music. That is my religion. Holy Trinity. Or unholy, maybe? Champ is asking, what is my favorite bootleg? I don't have a favorite bootleg. I rarely listen to any kind of a bootleg, really. Yeah, Gyro Lamp. I did a Lost Society interview. What it was like 3 years ago already. That was before pandemic. The last Tuska festival before pandemic. So I guess it was 2019. Uh, I guess some weird reactions from the band, but then again, I mean they're quite young guys. They're kind of bound to change and all that stuff. But they used to be good. SK, what kind of interview would be night side interview if I'm not, answering the questions? Really? Yes, Mark 13, the new behemoth is like behemoth. And SK, of course, I cannot really review a night side album. I cannot be reviewing stuff that I've been part of. Yes, Patricia, more interviews are coming, and I hope that I get to do Carpathian Forest Netherfrost interview part 2 next year when they're coming to Finland once again. Let's see. Not exactly excited about Astral Fortress when somebody was asking that. Mark 13, no, I'm not on a diet when working out. I had a diet before the competition because I had to lose weight to be under 90 kilos. Now I'm back to around 92 kilos and I started using creatine also. Gyro Lamp, did you know that Nightwish being called Disney Metal is actually compliment to them because Tuomas Holopainen is actually a big Disney fan. Hello, Eric Sire. Nice to have a legend here among us. Welcome to the stream, if it makes sense. Yeah, Tuomas Holopainen is a fucking nice guy. Can't really bitch about him. Yes, Magic69 is asking exactly the same weird question. Like, should Jerry interview himself? That would be fucking weird. Um, um, I've been asking this question. Have I ever heard a Swedish band Vergelmer? Not that I recall of. Oh yeah, Therion. Therion is actually having a new album out in late October, and I am stoked for it because Therion is actually one of my favorite Swedish bands. And Opeth has always changed style too much for me. So yeah. Draconian, gotta say I haven't heard Stila Storhet, but sounds weird if a raw black metal band goes to metalcore style. Like what the fuck? No, Brian Mounts, you're not late to the party. We have been here online for 1 hour, and I'm not in a hurry for another 3. I mean, it's not like I'm gonna do a 4-hour stream, but it's not I'm going away anytime soon either. What else? I'm still reading the backlog in case you're wondering what the fuck I'm doing. Hello, Papakias. I don't know Ru, Mr. Van, but that's an interesting name. And Luke is once again asking my specific religion. Yes, my specific religion is having as many 69 sessions as I can. A dissection for Patricia's religion. Yeah, I could do that with Patricia. Listen to this section. Yes, or dissection. That is pretty good religion. So I don't know what Patricia could learn from me about dissection. Dissection, Satan, and weed. That's a pretty cool compilation. Yeah, old man always partying, motherfuckers. Ottomani, I am 47 now. I know I feel like more like 27. Am I stoked about the new Dark Throne record? For real, I am not. Having a Dark Throne record with a ice skating dude on the cover, and because Eternal Hails is one of the worst Dark Throne releases ever, no, I'm definitely not stoked about Dark Throne record. Even though Dark Throne, the Golden Ages, I mean, it's the best black metal band ever. But no, I am expecting the new Dark Throne album to be quite crappy, to be honest. Yes, SK, I agree. Dark Throne should have changed their name when they abandoned black metal. Brian Mons, Drowning the Light. I haven't been listening to them extensively. What I can recall is them like they were pretty basic DSBM, if I don't mistake it with some other band. But I haven't been listening to much, so I can, for example, name an album out of my mind. But then again, my mind is, I mean, my memory is not very good these days, and going through a lot of releases all the time makes me forget a lot of those releases which are not exactly very good. Cameron, to answer your question about some good Finnish trash metal bands to come out. Now, the thing here is, most of the new bands don't even play trash metal. It's kind of a dead. There are lots of older ones like Prestige and other than who are doing the stuff, but this one band, this one album, I mean, they have like one non-cover album out so far. It's this. Come on, it's on the tip of my tongue. You know this demonstrator. Okay, I'm gonna type it here. Demonstrator. Check that out. They had a really intense album out last year. There's, by the way, an interview out them with the guys, so check out that. Yeah, yeah, Patrugia, we should have a dissection party with you someday. Let's do it. Storm of the Lights Bane, 10 out of 10. Yeah, Unanimated is actually a good band, often overlooked, but I guess because the band was away from it all for quite some time. Unanimated is definitely something that I hope to see live one day. For example, Ancient God of Evil album, which I bought around 1996, a really good one, and they have made a good comeback. Now that Draconian may mention Sacramentum, it will actually play here in about 20 days. They will play at Steel Chaos. I hope to land an interview with them, but of course I cannot promise you that because I haven't yet asked them. I need to start emailing those bands playing at Steel Chaos, like if they would actually do grant me an interview. Hetero Ertzen is a band that I only know by name. I haven't heard it, if I recall correctly, or at least there's no memory whatsoever listening to them. But yeah, Unanimated is definitely something that you should check out. Ottomani, I haven't heard about this myth about creating, producing hair loss or maybe baldness. because at least I cut my hair before I was using creatine. So I couldn't tell. Actually, this is as much I wanna do hair. I need to, shave it once again because I want to keep it very, very short these days. Magic 69 is asking any more bands you're aware of that going to steal Chaos except for Venom Inc. Now, I'm going there, yeah. And I guess Sacramentum, seeing them will be interesting. I'm not a big fan of the band, but I remember them doing quite cool music. Torture Killer is always good. Cadaveric Incubator is good. Kaestus is something that I want to see, but I'm not sure if I can see them. They play so early, might not be at the venue. And what else? Belphegor is going to be interesting. Never been a really good band, but I still think they have quite a violent and intense setup. So if I can land some interviews at Steel Chaos, which I hope to, that would be Venom Inc., Belphegor, Sacramentum, and then something else. But I don't know. Brian Mons, I'll try to do these streams on the very first weekend of any given month. So most likely the next stream will be early November. Patricia, do you still live in Germany, or do I remember wrong? And Mark 13, I haven't seen UFO in Finland, but I know they played a gig in Finland more than 10 years ago, but I haven't seen them. You're asking so many questions, it's hard for me to keep track and in time with you. Oh, Eric Sire, nice to see that you got to see Death Angel, Exodus, and Testament. Never seen Testament and Death Angel myself. Wow, really cool. I mean, Exodus is cool. Yeah, haven't seen those other bands. I mean, I know they're quite big, of course, but I don't remember, for example, Death Angel ever played here. Maybe they have, but I haven't been right there. But I would definitely like to see, because old school thrash metal, that is fucking cool, man. I mean, what keeps me going whenever I feel bored with a lot of nowadays black metal band. Sometimes nowadays black metal band kind of make me sick, because everybody wants to be so fucking occult, and yet when you talk to them, you will really feel find that they're quite shallow instead of being deep. And then there are bands which are like, yeah, we're very mystic, we're very occult, we're very much into this deep fucking deistic, philosophy. And when you really pick their brain, like, it's too mystic to talk about it. I'm like, what the fuck? If we're supposed to be very philosophical in the first place, you're supposed to be able to talk about it. That's the beauty of philosophy in the first place. It's there to be, ready for the picking. It's all about expanding the horizon. And when bands that are very deep and philosophical are not able to talk about the topic, it makes me feel like I'm having a sex with a fucking virgin, if you get my metaphor. So, yeah. And when I feel like death metal bands are like, yeah, it's all about gore and violence, bro. And I'm like, yeah, that's quite shallow as well. So then I'm looking at the trash metal bands. Okay, let me put it this way. Last weekend, when I was trying to kill the nervousness on my way to the deadlift competition, and I was like, okay, which album is going to do it? And I was driving my BMW some 30 minutes to the venue, where the deadlift competition was. So there was, driving my car, which I love. And I was like, okay, enter the voice command. And I was, Siri, play Slayer's Rain in Blood album. And there it was. Siri was like, okay, let's open Spotify. Here's some Rain in Blood for you. And I was like, yeah. And I was listening to just Rain in Blood when I was driving to the competition. It was like calming me down. Why? Because I fucking love Slayer. Not only because of the intense riffing, not only because I fucking love Lombardo's drum pounding, how he makes love to those percussion elements, cymbals and drums or whatever. Not only because I love Tommy Raya's vocals and commands, not only because I love the lyrics, but because all of them. So it was like killing my nervousness. It was like fading to the background when I was just listening to some Slayer. So yeah, bring me some trash metal and bring me some beer, and I'm fucking happy for I don't know for how long it lasts. So yeah, definitely would like to see some of the more old school trash metal bands, especially when Slayer is gone. All right, more comments once again. Um, Papagias, it's good to have like a late night protein shake. I will definitely have mine later on when I'm going. Actually, I will have a high protein quark and eat some sushi, even though later on. And yeah, Cameron Storm of the Lights Bane is definitely one of the better albums ever. Lord Satanaki on the podcast. Yeah, I don't know about that. Patricia, yes, that is very likely to go. That I will. You will be with. Why would I tell Belfagor that you need me? Like what the hell? Lucantropos is asking an interesting question. Am I into any kind of goth music, goth rock, post punk, dark wave? Well, not exactly into goth music, but I like a tune here and there. Never been, for example, like a Sisters of Mercy or the Cure fan, but I mean, I can totally respect their style, and of course, there's a song or two which can just bring smile to my face because, well, there's something very groovy about gothic music, and I mean the darkness present, but can't say I'm exactly into goth music. I mean, it's kind of like too sophomore be. And this being said, I'm a fan of Depeche Mode, so I don't know if that softness really makes a point. But yeah, I can respect goths doing their music, even if that's my thing so much. And Brian Mons have 1% finish. Congratulations. Yes, Magic 69. I mean, those kind of occult answers, they took place in the 90s and they still take place. And it's kind of a shame, really. But sometimes I feel like bands that are advertising being very occult or very much into deep philosophy, Satanism, or whatever, um, I'm not buying that sentiment that it's not easy to explain it to the audience. I think a wise man once said, and you might know the scientist before this phrase is like, if you cannot tell or explain a thing to a 6 year old in such a way that the 6 year old would actually understand it, then you don't understand the very topic yourself well enough. So maybe these black metal occults don't necessarily understand the very concept. I mean, let's talk about metaphysics for a while. It's very fucking hard to grasp the idea of metaphysics or existence in the first place. I mean, because it's a very, very hard topic. It's kind of a brain fucking uh, idea to explain what existence in the first place it is. No, um, Descartes The late, I think, French um, philosopher once said, like, if you can think, you exist. And that was a kind of an easy way to explain what existence is. But if we're going to elaborate on that, it's going to get more complicated. And I understand you will need a few books in order to go through the very basics of metaphysics and how it is. But if you're talking about, like, okay, I have this belief about these demons or these creatures that don't exist on this very plane of existence, and you're like, okay, is that how deep you can go? And not beyond that, it's gonna be like a laughing stock. It's gonna be something that, like, yeah, whatever, bro, I'm gonna get a beer. And don't get me wrong, I love philosophy, but if you really can't uh, make a debate, if you can make a dialogue, conversation about it, like what's occult, what's philosophy, and bring those topics together, and you're not able to discuss them, like, what the fuck? Just go drink beer instead. Probably makes you a happier person than just discussing topics you're not able to explain. I don't even know if I make sense, but my point here is a lot of black metal bands seem to think that if they don't explain what's going on in their minds and in their worlds or way that they see the world, to me it just sounds like a lot of bullshit. Basically the same thing, like, hey, if you don't believe in Jesus Christ, well, you're gonna be damned. And they're like, okay, explain me the whole concept of Christianity. And they're like unable to do it. It's almost like those flat earth theory people. They're like, okay, let's for 1 second imagine world is flat, and you think that there are these lizard people or whatever on the other side of this flat world. I mean, flat world, you know. And then you're asking them weird questions, and then you're like, if you don't believe, you won't ever see it. You will ever not hear it. And like, okay, so it's all about believing, you know. But believing is one fucking hard of a drug. I mean, if you really start believing in any kind of a bullshit, whether it's vampires or werewolves or just whatever you see on TV, or any kind of lizard people living on the other side of a flat earth, I mean, that's a kind of a rabbit hole. You can pretty much just fuck around with a lot of those ideas. And if you can, just believe in them, I would like to say good for you, but it's not exactly good for you. Um, but yeah, faith can be one hell of a drug. So if you can find faith in whatever sick fuck thing, you can really justify a lot of weird fucking things to yourself. So I'm suggesting don't do it. Abandon faith. All right, Jerry going rambling all again. Oh, look, yeah, Patricia is very much in love with Helmut. I cannot compare with Helmut. That's very true. Oh, Helmut is Patricia's papa. Now it gets complicated. And Belfagor is priest. He's cute and I love him. What the hell, Patricia? This is weird. Um, yeah, Mark 13, but I also think that Nurgle has some good points about, like, for example, Christianity and, challenging the values of modern life. But I might not agree with him, about the occult and whatever. Cameron is asking what kind of sushi I like. I guess I'm bound to say all kind of sushi. But if I had to pick a favorite, I would say the more spicier ones. In general, I prefer salmon, uh, tuna, and well, of course, some veggies are really good to go with sushi. Um, some crab, but yeah, many kind of sushi. I like to mix and match really. Yes, Fiona, you're really really true about Forgotten Woods and the kind of gothic vibes. There are bands like that. Papa, guess that's very interesting to hear that occult dissonant BM scene, like having like a factory made black metal. Oh, so nice to have kisses to Patricia. Oh, you're almost like having a group act here. Boldman, very much true. Religious faith is like politics leads to blindness. Eric Sayer, you're very much true about the celebrity status about Nergal. Nergal is already a big celebrity in Poland. And Behemoth is way bigger than Satyricon, which I guess pisses Satyr off. I don't know. Draconian haven't been listening to Lamp of Murmur. I remember listening to some of them stuff that really didn't click with me. Yes, Magic 69. It's easy to just say, believe and you will be saved. How fucking convenient. I mean, I could create a bunch of bullshit religions in a split second. Just give it various topics. Yes, this is the holy phone. Believe in it, and you will find solace in Steve Jobs' anus. Or believe Thai holy powerlifting legacy, and all vampires will go away. Bunch of bullshit. Look at Rabuz is asking another question. Have I heard the genre called magic metal? A confusion like psychedelic rock and black metal. Can't say I have. Can't say I have. Patricia, yes, we're all one blood. Yeah, 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 yeah. Jean Francois is asking what I think about goth mixed with metal like My Dying Bride. Well, actually, that is something that I can really enjoy. Um, I guess my gateway to some kind of a gothic metal was actually Paradise Lost gothic album around 1993, maybe. And I like it. I also like old My Dying Bride kind of stuff when it's very kind of a grievous, mournful music where you have this kind of a sadness present. And I think, British people are very good at it. I mean, it's a rainy place, darkness, and melancholy. That's actually where I resonate with, say, the kind of depressive black metal also. So while I'm a very positive guy myself, I do have a soft spot for, very melancholic music that kind of makes me feel sad, if that makes sense. I mean, of course, it's very different if I go to the gym and do heavy lifting. I don't feel sad. I don't have the time to feel sad. I need to feel powerful and all energetic. But yeah, I do respect and like to a certain degree of kind of a gothic vibe to it when it's about this kind of a certain European darkness, if you will, and these kind of a gothic vibes which you have, be it melancholy or be it this kind of a sense of nostalgia, even like missing some of the greatest times when it's all about like we're going to die and nothing we can do about it. uh, when it's all about like this overwhelming gloom, if you will. It's a very very different world. It's like opposite of listening to some kind of energetic trash metal, for example, Anthrax, or even those uplifting tunes by, say, bands like Metallica or Iron Maiden, or Judas Priest. But yeah, I do like some melancholic metal a lot. And there's this kind of a weird feeling that surrounds, that kind of a permeates the whole essence of this kind of a gothic vibe to it. So it definitely has place for me as well. But in general, I'm not a sad or grievous guy. I hope that answered your question, though. Yeah, Brian Mons, faith can be a hell of a thing if you're fighting off depression. Uh, I never feel depressed. So it's easy for me to say that I don't need that shit. But if it helps you, yeah, sure, do it. But I think there are way better things in life than religion helping with depression. I mean, physical exercise is one. Laying off the drugs and other, toxic substances is one thing. Also, having a good time with friends. I mean, it might sound a little bit weird, but actually hanging out with people who you enjoy is very good. But if you hang out with toxic people, it's gonna fucking depress you even more. And of course, going out to the nature, that also helps. Go outside, go to a forest for a walk to see and hear the birds singing, to see the woods, to see the majesty of Oceanside. How the sea goes with the wind and all. Stare at the motherfucking clouds and stars. World is full of magical things, and those magical things are called nature. You don't really need to find some, I don't know, extraterrestrial. You don't really need to find something otherworldly to just, make the healing process begin. If you're bound to depression on all that stuff, it's most likely that alcohol and drug abuse will only make it worse. And of course, hanging out with people who are toxic to begin with, probably making out worse. But what you have to understand is that from scientific point of view, depression is it's a chemical state, really. So that's why people who are having kind of a depression are nowadays, you know, even how to say, cured at least to some degree, just with a different set of chemistry and even electricity. And I'm not talking about some kind of a 1950s shock treatment, but the point here is we are chemical constructs, in essence, anyway. I mean, whether it's talking about falling in love, whether it's talking about feeling moody or whatever, we are in a way, we are biological creatures made of different kind of chemistry. And as such, sometimes our mental illness or weird states of, mental states, that is, it might be just because um, your body is having certain kind of substance too much. This is something that science is now finally, learning, and I'm no expert on that. So it's not like I'm not gonna give you a full scientific report on it. I'm just saying that um, science is finally starting to understand what kind of things are causing us depression. So sometimes it's just something that is fucked up in your chemistry, and it's not just easily to, you know, healed or cured just because you just do this, that, or whatever. But even, your diet might affect how you feel about, life. And of course, um, substance abuse is one thing that is can really fuck you up. I mean, even a normal person who has never gone through any kind of a depression might have somewhat depressed state when having, hungover. And these are all because of, different kind of serotonin and whatever levels in your head. So in essence, to understand what's going on with our, brain, a lot of our daily routines, whether we are getting good things out of our life because we're watching a good movie or going for a walk outside, in the nature, or petting a dog or cat. Sometimes even hanging around with animals can be really like healing process, if you know what I mean. So my point here is we don't need magical treatments as such to a lot of these things. But of course, I'm not also saying that you just think about angels and things will just go away. Of course, real scientific things help you with your life. And if you need some God in order to get rid of the depression, well, cherish that God. But I don't think religions as such are big help. I mean, they're like band aid to your bleeding wound. You need something bigger. And thank you so much, B, for your donation for Rauta channel, and much appreciated. Suggestion for new good black metal. I was just picking up this album, which the review will come up on Monday. This is Trinitas with Total Heresy, black metal band with kind of a super group lineup. This is my favorite black metal album of the year, on top of that time one. So these are the ones that I would say. Also, Elendez led one, but you can always click my review list if you want to find something new worthwhile checking out. You will find a lot of my reviews there. There's roughly 2,500 reviews now linked to that list, and I am updating it on almost daily basis. So go check out some suggestions. Some of them are reviews on the Rauta channel, some of them are not. Lykky is asking, do I smoke? No, I don't smoke cigarettes. I smoke weed every now and then, but that means like once or twice a year. Yes, Draconian Anathema is exactly what I was referring to with Old My Dying Bride and Paradise Lost style. And like Mark 13 said, turn loose the swans. That is the kind of stuff. Lucas is asking my favorite Marduk album, and that would be Panzer Division Marduk. What else? Dark Endless. That's kind of a weird pick for favorite Marduk one. I think that's one of the weakest ones. But yeah, it's their own, of course. Cameron, yeah, philosophy is interesting, but I guess bands having a coherent philosophy is hard because each individual in a band, I mean, they might think otherwise, even if they share their passion and style for the music. Patricia, who is trying to kill you? Not me, anyway. Um, yeah, Magic 69. What I mean is that depressive music can be kind of like an inner discussion with your mindset. I mean, even though I don't feel dark and depressed, I still can, enjoy dark, depressive music. It's hard to describe why I would like it so much, even though I'm not depressed. But yeah, it is something to do with my inner darkness, for the lack of better description. Yeah, incorrigible wizardry. I don't know if you're sarcastic or serious, but a lot of black metal bands, of course, have been praising about nature. So I guess you were sarcastic. Yeah, B, I'm fine, thank you. How are you doing, man? I hope everything is well at your end as well. all good here, except for inflation, Ukrainian war, and all that stuff. But other than that, life is pretty sweet. Yeah, and I could say metal music in general is good way to fight depression. But that's just me saying who has never had a depression. But yeah, I agree with Lucas. Best therapy for depression is hitting the gym, lift serious weights, and listening to some metal. Because in fact, exercises, I'm talking about physical exercises. They are scientifically proven to, help out with, depression and all that stuff. And it can mean, jogging or going for a walk or walking the dog. So it doesn't have to be like deadlifts and squats. And these are very much like I said, chemistry related. Like for example, when you do physical exercise, your body starts to create certain hormones or whatever, and serotonin, adrenaline, and all that stuff, and it really helps you feel better. The funny thing is, now if we go more on the positive side, now the funny thing is with lifting heavy weights is that because it also boosts one testosterone level, it often makes me a fucking horny. I mean, I could come out from a gym, having done my sets with bench press or squat, deadlift, and I'm ready to, have sex. It's just that like nobody's there to just have sex with me right after the gym, of course. But I mean, that's the kind of a funny side effect. You might go to the gym a little bit even tired and like, I don't know how the lift will be. I need to eat and all that stuff. And when you're coming out of the gym, like, I need to eat. I need to procreate. I need to have some, aggressive sex. In a perfect world, that would be, of course, possible, but in reality, not so much. Lucas, yeah, I know some people really like Soulside Journey as their favorite Doctrine because they like the death metal Doctrine, but yeah. Oh, but Risha, who hates you now? Um, Mark 13, I have about eight bands in the interview pipeline, and at the moment, or seven actually, because Mork came out yesterday. So five more from Midgård's Blood Festival and two more from Turku, Yoth Iria and Massacre being the names. Now I'm trying to set up some new interviews, but for example, Amon Amath was not doing interviews with smaller media in Finland when they played a show like a couple of weeks ago. Now I'm trying to get Vatain, Abbat, and Tribulation interviews, who are supposed to play like in a week's time here in Finland. But so far, none of the bands have been replying. So it seems like none of the bigger bands are doing these interviews. Behemoth is also coming to Finland in a month or so, but I don't expect them to do interview as well. So it seems like it's more like smaller bands and mid-sized bands that are doing interviews. Let's hope that I will catch some interviews at Steel Chaos in about 4 weeks, or actually, let me see. No, more like 3 weeks now. Yeah. Yes, fair. And a lot of religions are taking philosophical things, but making them more into things of faith. Whereas philosophical things you can really, just challenge and question. And that's kind of a welcome in philosophy. In religion, not so much. You're not exactly allowed to question Allah or God or Jesus. Whereas in philosophy, you're just ready to question everything, which is how it should be. All right, Brian Mons, and enjoy your NHL. Have a good hockey night. And Mark 13, yeah, I know a Bath interview would be interesting, but it seems like it's not happening. And Phil, thank you. Glad that you liked the Mork interview. I had a good time with Thomas of Mork. He was a really, really nice guy, and we had a good chat, in my opinion. Yeah, Mark 13. So it's funny that some bigger bands don't do, interviews at all unless you're really big metal media. So it was interesting that Arch Enemy was ready to do it. Sometimes the PR people will help, like Arch Enemy and Nightwish both at Knotfest decided to do it with me. So it was a great thing to happen. But some bands just feel like, yeah, we're above your media. Like when Amon Moth was coming to Finland now, and I was asking their label if they would like to do an interview, I was told that they only do interviews with bigger media. And even the one that is hardly a little bit bigger than Rauta in Finland, but still like the second biggest metal media in Finland, or basically the biggest if you don't count this radio station in the competition of a size. Even they couldn't, make an Amon Amarth interview. So I was like figuring out, okay, even if they don't have the possibility to interview Amon Amarth, then there's just only one chance that it's gonna be this big ass rock radio station. So sometimes bands are like they think they're so big that they can really get the mainstream media interested in them. But in Finland, I'm fucking sure that none of the mainstream newspaper are interested even in the slightest ways of bands like Amon Amarth. I mean, they're not Pink Floyd or they're not, you know, uh, Iron Maiden. And I don't know even if the mainstream media would be even writing about Iron Maiden either. So there's that. But it's kind of a funny, and that is part of the whole problem with metal. Let me put it this way. Rauta is not big enough for some of the bands to make interviews because, it's not mainstream. And at the same time, the labels and the PR people are trying desperately get more coverage for those bands. Now, see the problem. It's hard to make the media big if you're not landing any big fish. But also at the same time, the bands don't want to do, because the media is not big enough. Now, personally, I don't care so much about these bigger bands. I'm totally fine with doing underground interviews and all that stuff. But yeah, I also want to do something else than just black metal ones. Like for example, meeting with Michael Amoth of Arch Enemy and also, ex Carcass. Of course, it was like, hey, really good because he has been a big part of extreme metal music. Not even more with Carcass than Arch Enemy. So of course, it's cool to have other bands, not only black metal bands. But it is what it is. It doesn't change a thing if I cry about it. I'm just saying it's kind of funny that some bands are like, we're way too big for your small channel and the like. So it is what it is. Some bands are just so goddamn big. What else? OB, I don't know if Trinitas have digital download out there yet. I couldn't even find out. Excuse me. I couldn't even find a proper release date for the Trinitas, so I don't know when the digital one will be out there, but I guess eventually. Patricia, yeah, Burzum interview. I mean, yeah, it would be great if it would happen, but I don't know. Hard to say for sure. Uh, I don't know. I don't know if Vikernes would be doing interview with me. And yeah, Natrid, Bather interview. Let's wait for that. Let's not do any other interviews until Bather interview is done. By the way, welcome to the stream. Waldman, I hope that you will like those incoming interviews. There are some cool ones. For example, Vardrona interview is probably my one of my favorite ones to come out soon. Yeah, SK, who you should think I should be interviewing for Nightside? Yes, Mark 13, I agree. They are not exactly mainstream. They are maybe not underground anymore when we're talking about bands like Amunamoth or Latine or Abath, but they're far from being mainstream. I mean, they're not Iron Maiden, they're not Ozzy, they're not Metallica, etc. How are you doing, Natred, by the way? Yeah, let's find out. Yeah, Patricia, how much Vari Vikernes actually loves you? Yeah, B, I lost some weight because of the competition. So I'm young and beautiful once again, and weighing a few kilos less. Oh, thank you so much, Weirdo Williams. Thank you very much for your donation. This is going once again distributed among the Rauta crew. Thank you so much. Yes, Natural. I think the Marduk interview was pretty cool. At least I like the guy, and they made a good show. So I think he had a pretty laid back attitude with the interview. So it was nice. And yeah, self interview with Nightside. That would be fucking weird. Baby on the way. Yeah, me and Patricia, we are having a baby. Magically sending my semen to Germany. All right, good night, Mark 13. Oh no, Nadra just literally crumbled Feekerness. Good SK, that's cool. All right, we're about 2 hours in. Do you have some final questions? Because I feel like I should be gaming. Because I still have some couple of hours left. I could do a little bit of a death loop gaming, and tomorrow there is some night side rehearsal with some of the new songs and all. So, do you people still have some questions? Oh, by the way, yeah, one thing I needed to remind you people that my adult channel Rauta Beyond is back in business. Just added a new movie review there today, and I hope to bring some non-metal stuff to Rauta Beyond channel as well. So check out Rauta Beyond. Also, if you need to see non-metal stuff by yours truly, me. Yeah, B, it would be nice to hear about in new Mqua. And Mqua is actually playing a show here in about a month. Unfortunately, Mqua still doesn't do video interviews, so that is that. Yes, Benji, leipä juusto and coffee is a good combination. That's right, lad. Oh, B, damn, that's kind of a shame. I mean, they're a good live band for sure. Naturally, I think I will keeping those non-metal reviews on Rauta channel as well because I am most likely going to dedicate that Rauta Beyond once again for non-musical content, movie reviews, workout ramblings, um, gaming ramblings. I don't know. I'm exploring a little bit because now that I reignited the idea, I think I will just keep the musical reviews here. I haven't yet read Mikko Aspa interview on Bardo, but I noticed it a few days ago. Someone else asked the same question. Haven't yet read it. Yeah, Aspa has always been deep into this kind of darker ends of stuff. I mean, he used to do already pornography himself more than 20 years ago. So there's that. Yeah, Waldman, I hope you like it. All right, Draconian, thanks for being part of the stream. Good night and take care, you as well. See you later. Magic 69. The thing here is, I have been pestering my drummer, guitarist friend in Annihilatus, the other part of the band, and he has decided to put the band on hiatus for, I don't know, indefinite amount of time. So, on my behalf, there is one album ready for Annihilatus in terms of lyrics, vocals, guitar riffs. All the songs are being made, but I really can't force my other part of the band to just make it more ready. But let's put it this way: there's almost album ready for of Annihilatus ready to be released whenever he's ready to continue that project. Meanwhile, however, I will be focusing on Nightside while Annihilatus is taking its nap. Waldman, it's hard to say how many finished tracks we have, but I would say we have roughly maybe five new songs for Nightside. Not all of them have like all the lyrics done and all, but say it's more like three tracks are which are pretty ready, and then there are a couple of tracks which are still need to be worked around a lot, especially now that we have a new guitar player. And if things go as planned, we will be doing a new demo with Nightside by the end of year. That's anyway the plan. Thank you, Feon. I hope you will find Rauta Beyond worth checking out. It won't be, of course, updated as often as Rauta because it's a side project where we'll be talking about TV shows, movies, games, workout, random topics. But yeah, I'll try to update it every week anyway. So now that I have a new movie review out, I will make another movie review soon. And I will soon also talk about TV shows and games also. We'll see how it will unfold. That's also a little bit of my playground in terms of doing a little bit of a more video editing on the Rauta Beyond side. So yeah, let's see what kind of tricks I will learn with Rauta Beyond and which I can actually take into Rauta channel as well. And yeah, I don't think the Night's demo will be released right away, I think we will be sending it to the labels in order to see how we can progress. So we're definitely, if that is up to me anyway, we're definitely aiming for another full album. But having a demo ready for labels should out, just make our work a little bit easier in terms of, finding some kind of a budget. And because there are plenty of ideas just around. What I really like with the current lineup is that now our new guitarist is also bringing riffs. Our bass player has done already a couple of songs. Our keyboard slash synthesizer dude, I mean, the founding father of the band, he has some old ideas, even from the 90s, which are unused. And then the lead guitarist is also bringing some new ideas to the band. And of course, I'm trying to write lyrics as a crazy person so that it fits Nightside theme. Well, even I have some riff ideas and melodies in my head, which I just need to take to the band. So it seems like suddenly, instead of a band with just like one songwriter, we have actually band with 4 or 5 songwriters. And so far, it seems like everybody understands what this band is all about. I mean, musically and otherwise. So it's not like one guy brings totally weird, different ideas. Everybody seems to understand that this is a band that needs to be focused on certain kind of ideas in order to sound Nightside, if that makes any sense to you. But we'll see. I don't want to give you too many weird ideas, until we have actually done it. But so far, I'm really happy with the new songs we have in works, and they sound like as if Nightside never went away. So I'm at least happy about it. But you will see. You will see. And I don't know if it makes sense to do live streams on Rauta Beyond because, I mean, basically the audience is roughly the same. So I guess all those Rauta Beyond streams will be here as well because on these streams I will anyway talk about more than just metal music. I don't know if it makes sense to have Rauta Beyond streams. Not at this point anyway. Yeah, I hope the new Nightside music will be satisfying to you. What matters to me, of course, most is that I will enjoy those new songs. And don't make that mistake that I wouldn't be being critical about them. Like, if I don't like a riff, I will definitely say to the guys. So I won't have any of those riffs or ideas which don't fit the band, even if I'm not the captain of the band. But I have some, I guess it's safe to say that I can say, don't do this. It's not going to work for the band. All right, I think it's time to go. It's more than 2 hours, and I still have some, audio editing to be done. I've mentioned it a couple of times already, but still something that you people who join later on the stream, that Rauta podcast will be in works, and that will be first coming to Rauta's Patreon site. So I hope you Patreon supporters will enjoy that podcast content, and then it will be also going to Spotify if things go correct and nice. And we'll see how it unfolds. But this is the territory I want to expand Rauta as well. So having podcasts and all kind of discussions with you people. Patricia and Waldman will be holding hands, and I will say good night to Patricia. Have a good night. Have a good night, SK, and everybody else. And thank you, Daniel Lynch, for your comment also. And thank you, people participating in the stream. Next stream should be out in early November. And it seems like it's going to be 5th of November. That is the first Saturday of November. That is something that you might want to mark on your calendar if you want to be part of the stream again. And good night. Take care. And once again, let me know if you want to have those game streams later on, and I will bring them to you as well. And kisses to Patricia. And take care. Please do give me feedback on Rauta's Discord, Rauta's Patreon site, or any of Rauta's videos. I will be reading them and getting back to you. Now, good night and take care, people, and stay metal.